Hello, welcome back to part 2 of my Christmas panel that I've been working on. I started with some fabric painting. I've done a little bit of thread painting as well. So fabric painting with paint, and then use some thread over the top to add some texture and definition. I made a little free motion machine embroidered snippet roll that I cut my leaves out of. This is what that looked like. Very happy with that actually. And I've embroidered some veins on those, and now I've just been sitting here having a think about what I'm going to do with these magnolias. And my biggest problem is quite like those. I quite like it painted. And what I can't decide is what I really want to do. I don't just want to leave them painted. I want to add some embellishment, but I can't quite decide what I want to do. And so I thought maybe what I would do, so I had some lace that I dipped in, a cup of tea. So it turned out a bit darker than maybe I wanted it to. So, but it's very uneven. It hasn't dyed evenly, so I'm using some of the paler bits. And I thought rather than try and do a whole flower, I would just use bits and pieces to give a suggestion of petals on the top, which still leaves that underneath. And the only other thing that I'm not 100% sure about doing is leaving this black line, which is the original artwork design, or covering it with a thread. And I'm kind of leaning towards this natural colour. So they're the things that I think I'll work on while I'm chatting away to you. I don't know if it'll all turn out exactly like that, but let's give it a bit of a whirl and see what happens. Cool. I'm also going to add some Christmas fabric around the borders here and make it a pillow cushion cover for my bed. I usually decorate the house for Christmas and like to have particular Christmas linens. I've got quilts for most of the beds in the house, and I have one cushion cover that I did in Sashiko embroidery, and now I'm doing this one, so I might even do another one. Cool. Sorry, every time I turn the thing on, the phone pings at me, and if I don't look at it, it just keeps pinging at me. It's been quiet all day, and now suddenly everybody wants you. So this lace has, when I cut it out of the piece, just using bits of it, it's not going to be very stable. It's going to need me to. Can I bring you a bit closer? Let's try that. You're a bit far away. Yeah, see these edges here where it's machine stitched in. Now it'll stop. It's not going to perish completely because it's got this tulle that it's stitched onto, so that will support it. But what I am going to do is overstitch it because I think that's just going to add another layer of protection really to the threads that are there. So just with a simple overcast, that's what I'm doing. Just picked a machine thread that kind of matched really. Nothing special in my thread. Just this one. Nothing special, but enough to hold it down. And being a cushion on the bed, it's not going to need to be washed. It might get a bit dusty, but I don't think it's going to need to go in the washing machine. Different one on a couch, often something will get, somebody will have something sticky on their fingers, or something could get, a mark could get on it, which might mean it would need to be washed, but on the bed I don't think so. I have another panel of these. It's got a bird on it, and I thought I might actually have a go at doing that one too. So anyway, I don't think I'll do it on here unless everybody says, no, do it, we want to see it. I perfectly understand if you don't want to, it's fine. I'm not going to be offended if no one says they want to see it. I hadn't thought about doing it on video, but you never know. I might, in between doing a few other bits and pieces. I just thought if I get my act into gear and get these things done now, I'm a step ahead for Christmas. I usually like starting to decorate the house from the 1st of December. And I have a bit of a ritual that's been going on for a few years now, that I do one thing every day of December, from the 1st of December. And it could be one day I'm putting the tree up and putting some decorations, and another day I'm doing something around the house, or I might go Christmas gift shopping, or I might do some cooking. Something to do with Christmas, one job every day. The house takes me a while to get done because I like Christmas decorations in every room and lights in every room, and that always takes me a long time to set up, even longer it feels sometimes to take it down. And I always procrastinate about taking it down. I think, oh yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. Sometimes it's, yeah. And then all of a sudden you get sick of it and you go, right, Christmas, come down today. That's the end of that. And everything gets done. I mean, it doesn't stay up for a ridiculous amount of time, but it's sometimes, longer than a couple of weeks after Christmas anyway. But it's good fun. My granddaughter likes to help. I have some things, some collections, some Christmas collections that don't get packed away completely. They get put in a cabinet in my lounge. She knows exactly where they all are and where they go when I set them up. It's funny. I must do the same thing. Didn't know that I did. Or she's just remembered what I did last year, and so then she does it again the next time. But she's been helping me do decorations. The boys did it for a little while and they can't be bothered now, but my granddaughter still likes to do it with me, so she wants to be around when the Santas will come out. I have a collection of Santas and she likes to put them all up for me, and then go around on when we all gather together for Christmas and make sure all the lights are all turned on, and yep, she knows how to do that. That's very handy. And like I said, the boys do a little bit but really can't be bothered much. My boys set the table for Christmas lunch. We one year we had it all ready to go outside and the weather changed. No, we had it done. We were going inside. We had it set up inside. That's what we did. And the weather changed to be a beautiful day and everybody said, silly to sit inside, let's all sit outside. In both houses we've always had an outdoor area for seating and being together, so we can all be at the one table together. And so while I was doing other things, the boys got the table sorted, and that was my son and son-in-law, my husband, and their sons. So yeah, that was really nice. And you know what? I've left it to that. I think they did a fantastic job. Would it be featured in the home magazines? Probably not, but we loved it and they enjoyed doing it, and I think that was really nice. So that's now that's going to be a tradition. They're not getting out of that ever again. I think they've done it so far for about, I don't know, 4 years, maybe 5. They know where the things are. The younger boys know where things are. The older boys never remember. But the younger boys know, and they know what goes on the table. And we play games around the table after Christmas lunch, so everybody gets to join in the fun of that. We've had a couple of sort of, particularly Christmas type card trivia games that everybody likes, and because the boys are all getting a bit older now, they know the answers to the questions, so that's fun. Keeps everybody sitting around the table for a few hours actually, which is really nice. That's even nicer. Yeah, it's funny how those funny little things just happen, and then everybody goes, oh, remember when we did that? Oh, that was a good idea, let's do that again. And so yeah, I guess that's how all Christmas traditions start. There's something happens that everybody likes and they want to repeat it. And repeat that feeling, the feeling of how nice it was to sit around the table together and, join the fun. One of the grandsons has got a funny sense of humour. He just knows some funny things. Oh, gosh, we all laugh at him. Actually, they all do. They're all the same, but one in particular thinks up these funny things, makes everybody laugh. That's nice. And, they all can read and they're all of an age now that they get it. They get the joke, so, yeah, that's nice. Cool. Well, I think that looks all right. Found the pin tin. That was good. I lost it in the last video. Yeah, once it's embedded down, it actually looked a bit better. It looks a bit better. All right, good. I'm going to keep doing that then. But I'm going to have a go at doing this cream outline. I just thought, well, I like a black outline on some things. It just looks like a colouring in picture, and I didn't want it to do that. I might be able to thread this up. This is just a DMC thread, Ecru it's called. Doesn't have any other name than that. Just Ecru. And I know that there's one particular way that you're supposed to do this, but I never remember which one it is, so it's probably not this one, because this one looks like it's going to tangle up. And so that's when it comes out of the packet and goes on a card. Because it was probably supposed to have been pulled the other end, and I didn't. Oh yeah, that's just jolly annoying, that is. That's just like got itself in a silly tangle. Don't you hate that? I do. Apart from having a bit of red thread stuck in there, that's not helping. Goodness. And neither can I see the other end that might have helped the story. There. Wonder what'll happen if I pull it that way. Oh, it still wants to tangle up. Gosh, it's really not very user-friendly, this one. It's definitely going on a card. Not right now. Maybe later. See, it just wants to tangle. How silly. Gosh, it must have been like that. Some just are really good and others are just not. And this is just a knot one. It's almost a knot. How silly is that? All right, well, we only want single strands, so let's just go with that bit for now and worry about the rest later when you're not waiting patiently to see what happens next. Good. All right, I'll do this one and then I might end up doing a little bit off screen because you probably don't need to watch it all, but I thought together we might just see what this looks like. Do I want to do it? I was trying to decide whether I wanted to do it back stitch or stem stitch. I'll try back stitch to start with, and then having a little bit of the black sort of showing still gives it just a bit of shadow, and I think that's an okay look. But just to get rid of that, you know, what then looks like a, yeah, colouring book, you know, children's colouring book. I just didn't want it to do that, which a solid black line can look like. You're up quite close. I hope that's all right, but I thought it might be better to see you with. Or for you to see me with. You know, the only thing that I don't like about it is when it gets that real dot, dot, dot. So no, that's not going to happen. It's not my favouriteest look. So the only way to combat that is to do a split back stitch, which is always a bit trickier with single strand, but it is possible, but it gets rid of that, you know, that almost looks like it's perforated dotting thing going on. All right. I'll threading it closer to me so I can see what I'm doing. All right. Trickier because now you need to go back in just at the very end of that stitch into it, which with a single strand of thread is a little bit harder to do, but it's possible. Pointy needle makes it a little bit easier. Yep. A little bit slower probably, but it gets rid of that dot. Hopefully that was something you could see that I was talking about. Yeah, just an outline now. May it way better. Worth the effort of pulling it out. It was only half a dozen stitches, it wasn't much. Happy to pull it out and get the look I want rather than be disappointed at the end for the sake of pulling out. All right, that's going to take a little bit of time to do, but I think it's probably, you know, I'm happier with that look. It just takes that black line look away without losing the shape of the flower petal, the flower petal. I think if I do the other panel, which is the bird, together they might look quite good on the bed. I was originally going to make them into placemats until I realised that somebody is likely to spill beetroot on it, and I thought, no. You know, Christmas in Australia is summer, so it's salads and beetroot juice for sure, because everybody in this house likes beetroot juice or gravy on the roast. And we still do have roast and gravy and things, but, you know, we also have salads. And that good old beetroot's notorious for leaving a mark. And of course you never see it until after everybody's gone home. Well, I'm sorry about that. That was the phone ringing, and it rang through the iPad and cut the iPad off. Sorry about that. My daughter was ringing to tell me that everybody in her house has got some silly cold, which is crazy at this time of year to be having. And we've been having really cold early mornings, warm afternoons. We're just having every season this week. It's just been crazy. Anyway, I was supposed to be basketball tonight, and he's not feeling well enough to play, so we're not going to watch. But it's also a long weekend for some. This weekend it's next Tuesday's Melbourne Cup Day, and Melbourne Cup Day on the Tuesday is a holiday, and a lot of families take that opportunity to take a long weekend. And you know, often people go away because the weather's a bit nicer, and yeah, they were planning on going away, and now they don't know what they're doing. So yeah, and I would have been doing the cat and the chooks, but yeah, I don't know, it might not happen, so sorry. That was what was going on with the phone. I've nearly done this. I was doing it while I was chatting to her. It's nearly sorted. Nearly done, and I'm quite happy with it, happy with the look of it. In saying that, I did think that, you know, these little turnovers here of the petals, I did them with a bit of extra gold paint, but as happens with paint on fabric, it dries paler than it starts off being, and that gold's not quite as intense as it was, and I was thinking, oh yeah, that petal was supposed to go over the leaf. Oh well, it's come behind now. Not going to worry too much about it. If it had been a petal that was fabric, I would have put it over, but can't stitch over it. Good. All right, I think that looks quite good. Now, will I do a bit of gold on those turnovers? Maybe. Maybe. I just need to see the gold thread. I just can't see it right at this second. Is it in here? No. Is it? Yes, it is. I use this same gold thread. Sorry, that's my sort of Christmas stitchery box that I've been using all my bits and pieces for my Christmas table runner that I've been doing. Just keep all the bits and pieces together. But I thought this might actually this might work. We'll see. I'm doing it double because it's very fine. And what I thought I might do is like a satin stitch, you know, if it was big enough I'd weave it, but I don't know that it's big enough. Weaving would be good, wouldn't it? But I don't know that that there is big enough for the weaving. And I'm happy for this to have a bit of, you know, glitter and stuff. It's going to have some sequins on it in a minute as well. It's Christmas, you know, we need a bit of sparkle. Goodness, we're going to get all the noises of the house. That's Paul walking up the driveway. He went, it was bin day, so he's collecting the bins. But of course, walking past the camera makes a noise on my phone. Just getting all the household noises today. Yeah, it didn't need to be woven. It just wasn't big enough in area, I don't think. But I quite like the look of it. And you see that? It's not too over the top. It's a bit subtle. Oh, I was concentrating on what I was doing then and I forgot you were still there. Quite often when I'm stitching like this, I'm watching something on the TV, another one of our lovely stitching friends who have a YouTube channel. I like to watch and listen, see what they're doing while I'm stitching. Feel like we're all stitching together then in the same room, which is kind of nice. And yeah, I forgot that I had you with me. Nearly there. And then so you know what I'm going to do there. I'm going to do the same thing here and probably around this one. So that one there and around this petal here. I'm only going to finish doing this little bit and then I'll do something else. So you've got an idea of all the things that I'm doing. All the different bits. I quite like the outline. It's just there. It just takes that black line away from the flower. Nearly. I really need to learn how to do music on my videos. I have no idea how people do it. I'm sure there's a clever way of doing it, but I don't know what that is. So I need to do a bit of research on it. I've had a few videos now where I'm happy stitching, but the silences, you know, a lot after a while. Yeah, good. That looks good. Perfecto. Even though it had gold paint on it, it doesn't matter. And I'm not going to be doing every petal. I'm only doing some. I quite like the fact that there's only that there. All right, now the next thing that I thought I would do is the mistletoe leaves. And what I thought I was going to do is use some of this little tiny bits and pieces of cheesecloth that I've painted. The whole piece looks like that. I painted it with green and white actually used acrylic paint because it's stiff, because I wanted that colour for something else and this was left over, so I just mopped it up off the tray, you know, sort of scrunched it up and got sort of a variation like that. So I'm just going to use these teeny tiny bits. I've got kind of like a what I call no colour green thread, and just some little teeny tiny stitches. I don't think it's going to be anything fancy, just enough to hold it and give the leaf a bit of texture without changing it too much. This was Corinne's idea. I was chatting to her about the fact that I was doing it and did she have any more of the panels, and we were just having a chat together and a stitch, and I said, I don't know what to do with these mistletoe leaves. I had already a plan for the others, but not the mistletoe, and given that they're a totally different colour, they're not that Christmassy green. And then she came up with this idea, so thanks for that, because I just had it. I just was able to reach down into my box of tricks and go, here's some that I prepared earlier. Very handy. I'm just doing little random stitches that you really can't see because it's just burying itself into the fibres. But what I want to do is not have it. So see how I'm sort of kind of following the contour of it around there, so that it's not covering the whole leaf. Just going to move that over there. And this is kind of like, you know, really making some fabric collage, not just embroidery. Yeah, and I'll bring some around here. I'm still leaving, then you can still see the painted area. The berries are going to be sequins, I've decided. So yeah, you might go, that was a lot of effort you did to paint everything. But because I'm not going to completely cover everything in stitch or fabric or whatever, it's given me an underlayer of colour that then I can just add to and enhance, and it's still seen. It's not, I don't feel like I wasted my time. I actually enjoyed doing it. And I guess you could just use thread or fabric and completely cover the image if that's what you wanted to do. But I decided that I wanted to paint it first. And so I'm kind of just doing it like a, collage thread painted look. All right. That's how that's going to look. An occasional thread might come off, but I've pretty much caught them all. All right, I'm going to keep working on that as my homework. And, oh, good. There we go. That's come undone, unthreaded. Just gives it some enhancement. What else can I show you that I want to do now? I've got variegated pearl cotton to Wonderfill, Pearl 8, and I'm going to do all of the stems of the leaves and the holly berries and the mistletoe berries. I'll do them all the same there in that. And I thought I'd use this. See, every now and then these little black spots. I'm going to do French knots in those. I've got some pearl buttons that I'm going to use in here, and then I'll work out. Don't know what I'm going to do. I was going to put lace, but the same here. I was thinking about lace, so I might just go off and have a play and come back to you when I've made a few more decisions. Okie doke. Talk to you soon. Cool. So I've been working a bit on it, and I just really wanted to draw your attention to this side versus this side. You know, what a difference a little bit of embellishment makes. It's not a huge amount. I've started to stitch the berries. I've done these little colonial French knot things. I did brown on the stem of the magnolia, and so I decided to use that for the cross stitches as well. Done the 3 little mistletoe leaves, and I'm just working at the moment on the holly berries. So what I've done is I've added a couple of beads here, and so I've satin stitched the berry. Let's see where they are. Satin stitched the berry. So yeah, the painting is irrelevant now. And this little area here that indicates a shine on the berry, that's where I'm adding the beads. So while I've done, I've done the satin stitch, I'm also adding these little beads in here. So I added 3 on this one just because it's a bit bigger. Is it good for you? Is it? There. Cool. All right. And now I just thought that I'll just do 2 on this one. I think that's probably enough. The smaller ones don't need quite as much as the bigger ones. That's probably enough. And I just thought the bead just gives that little bit of shine that the berry might need. Holly berries. Yeah, I'm sort of pleased at how it's going. I haven't yet finished the gold additions on here, but I just thought if I show you where I've been heading with this, the These little dots are this thread, which is a Suspago one, Wonderfill, Eleganza, Pearl, it's probably got a EZM29, so it's a variegated pink and orangey colour. And the berries themselves are in this one, which is a DMC Pearl Cotton. Yep. Maybe is it 115 is the number? Pearl Cotton 8. Oh, there's a lot, 52091, don't know, but it's a variegated one, quite dark to quite light red, and this one's got the brighter orangey colours in it. Thought they looked quite good together. So yeah, that's where I'm headed with this. Got a little container of beads and sequins, because what I want to do is add a sequin for the, yeah, I think that's enough, for the mistletoe berries, which are normally white, but I'm going to make them gold. I just decided that, you know, a little bit of gold goes a long way sometimes. Finish this off here. But I really noticed the difference. You know, I sort of walked away while we had tea and things, and when I came back I went, oh my gosh, you know, this side is like so different to this side. It's really brought it alive, and yet there's not a huge, I haven't added a huge amount, really. I mean, yes, the leaves, a little bit on here, but, you know, it's not like I've fully covered anything. All right, let's do the mistletoe berries, and then I can go off and finish the other side, which is much the same until I get to here. When I get to here, that's probably when I'll come back, and by then I might have worked out what I'm going to do around the outside edges, because, you know, this is too small a piece for a cushion cover. I need to add around it. Yep. I'm going to do a stitch first. Pick up a sequin. Add a bead. And go back. Oh no, did I do that right? Oh yes, I did do that right. Back down with the bead that's holding the sequin. So there's still that outside edge, and I'm all right with that. Good. All right, well, that's how they're going to look. I'm pretty okay with that. That'll give me a nice little bit of bling, and I'll keep working on the holly berries like I've done the other side where the mistletoe leaves are. Probably some mistletoe berries, I think. But yeah, it's those little flowers and the buttons down the bottom that I'm looking for. Yeah, that just gives it a nice little bit of light. Yes, it's still got the outline, but I'm all right with it. I know I was fussing about a black outline on the flower, but I think on these it's giving me enough of a, Well, the outline's adding a bit more dimension, and that's what I was looking for. Cool. There we go. So close. Nearly done. All right, I've got holly berries here. These sort of like French knot things that I'm adding here. Not French knot, but colonial knot. I'll come back and show you. Maybe do you want me to show you that now before I whip off? I do a colonial knot, but it's got a double twist, which just gives it a bit more bulk. I like a colonial knot. I like the way a colonial knot sits on the fabric. I mean, I like French knots too, but a bit partial to colonial knot. All right, let me try and thread it. I'll get it a bit closer here, out of your view. Just gets closer to my eyesight. Yeah, so I'm going to do all the crosses in the brown and all of these knots in the same colour. So with this pattern, these black dots were here on the original pattern that Corinne had drawn out. She probably thought that something would go there, whether it was a knot or a bead or something. So colonial knot is holding the thread. Can't do it left-handed, I'm sorry, can only do it right-handed. Left to right under, flip it, left to right under, back through the fabric, pull the knot down. Oh, no, I wanted to do two. Stop. Left to right, and again, do a double wrap there, the second one. The second twist has got a double wrap. I'll do it again in a second. Show you what I'm doing. Happy for it to look like that. Just gives it a little bit more bulk, really. All right, it's a double colonial knot. Left to right, and left to right to double wrap. Hold it, pull the knot till it's taut on the fabric, otherwise you're likely to get some weird loopy thing going on if you don't do that. Again, show you again. Okay, holding it taut here, left under. From the left under the thread to the right, turn it around, left to the right under, and again under. Hopefully that works. A good enough demonstration for you to be able to work it out too. But it gives quite a nice sort of like bulky looking knot at the end. Or the end, when it's done. Excuse me. All right, two more. And I'm liking how this thread's coming out in a variegation. The variegation's really, it's good. Sometimes the variegation isn't quick enough and you just sort of get, one section just in one colour and another section in another colour. But this one I'm getting the changes, so it's quite nice. All right, good. All right, when I get back to the next bit, when I've done all of this, doing it in exactly the same way, all of this, when I get down to here, I'll come back. Okay, so I'm getting there. I've done a fair bit of the stitching in around here, and I've started to add a border of just Christmas fabrics. I thought I might incorporate a little bit of crochet things, a little bit of tatting up here. Yeah, it's going to be a cushion. It's going to be a cushion cover. It's fairly decent. It's let me think how big it is. It's like nearly 20 inches across, and I'm assuming it's close to that. Oh no, it's only like 17 inches, 17 inches that way. Yeah, it's more rectangular. And I thought what I would do is now do a running stitch. I thought I would use the same thread. I'm not going to try and do different colours or anything like that. I'm just going to use this one to stitch it all down with a running stitch. I've still got a little bit of embroidery to finish off. Not a lot, nothing new that you haven't seen. But I thought if I just show you where I was headed with this outside border of stuff, that just out of my Christmas bits that I have, bit like my Just Because quilt, just added things as I found them. Cool. All right, I'm going to pin it down and then start thinking about how I'm stitching it, because this is already I was already at about 40 minutes, so I don't want this to go on and on forever. I mean, I'm happy with a long video, but not everybody is, so I'm trying to cover up a little bit here. I'm just trying to work out which bit might go in there. It just took me a little minute to put together a colour range that I was happy that still kind of went with what was going on here. Good-o. All right. Well, I've looked at it from a distance, and you're seeing it from a distance, so I hope you think it looks okay. I think it looks all right. I've started to sort out some beads. I've got these cultured pearls, freshwater pearls, that I thought I was going to put that, this thing in the, this bit of lace, and then I just went, nah, it can go over there. I'm just going to bead in here, do some beading in here, and I've got to work out, I've got my bag of pearl buttons, my beautiful bag from Paris that my friend bought me back last year, that just keeps giving and giving. Beautiful heavy pearl buttons. They're going to go in there. I've been, just trying to work out what I was going to do with this, and I think that I'm going to just do like a satin stitch in possibly the cream. If I bring you back down. Whoop. All right there. What's in there? Oh, don't even know what that is. Something. Not an anything. I've done those little French knots in there. Quite like them. Added the sequins in. I've pretty much done this lotus. I'm just starting to add the gold thread. So there's a couple more spots for the gold thread to go in here and here, here and here. Probably there. There's a bit in there as well. But I just thought I'd do a bit of a mixture of beads with a few different sizes. I've got another little bunch of beads just happened to be put together from something else. So I've got some pearl beads. So yeah, that's where I'm going with this. Alrighty, I will go and probably pin it all down, and if I start to stitch, I'll come back and let you know. what I actually did was I added some strips of wadding because I only had the wadding as big as the embroidery, and that wasn't ever going to be enough. So I just like did a overcast stitch to attach the wadding, so that I added another, made it bigger, here, all right, and all the way around. Did sort of kind of the same size. All right, I'll go and get all that sorted because now it's just going to be, I thought, if I can stick to the hour, that's probably going to be slightly better for you. How cute. How cute did that when it caught the, I can't see. There, look at that when it catches the light. Okay, back in a sec. Well, I'm almost done. I've got you way up high so that you can see what I've been doing here. I've put this outside edge around just with some scraps of Christmas fabrics, made it that little bit bigger. I haven't quite finished it, so I haven't backed it yet. That'll be a show and tell another day. Added a bit of lace, finished all the embroidery. That's all done. All right, I'll bring you back for the embroidery bit. Sorry, hold on to your seats. There we go. How's that? Cool, good. All right, added some pearl buttons. I always love the back of pearl buttons. I love all the colours, so I always stitch my buttons on upside down. Little bit of thread, satin stitch flowers with some little beads in the middle. All the mistletoe's done. Oh, what did I call this the other day? Lotus. It's not a lotus. It's a magnolia. Silly me. Added the gold in there. Whoop. I've got some beads here. And I've been beading. So I did a cluster of beads on this poinsettia. It's chunky, but I thought I wanted it to look like that. And I've got the last little bit of beading here to do. So I've done some gold threads just coming out, but I'm going to add a few beads in here. And I thought that's my last little bit that I'm going to do. I'm going to do it with you. So what I found in my stash, I've got a very, very, very fine beading, a very fine needle. I don't think it was really technically a beading needle, but it's got a lovely bend in it now. I'm only going to have a couple of beads on here, and then that's it. You'll see this in a minute. I use some of these flat glass beads. I use some tiny little Mill Hill beads, these little weeny ones. Oh, where are you? There, tiny weeny ones. Freshwater pearls that I bought when we were in Ballarat. Yep, all nice stuff. So, and that's what I thought I'd do here. I'd add those freshwater pearls. Oh, now I need to work out exactly where I'm going to put this so you can see what I'm talking about. It's here. If I stay here, that's kind of about the middle. Of course, it's going to come up. Oh, this needle isn't quite as horrible to thread as some beading ones are. Some beading needles are just awful to thread and almost mean you don't want to use them. But this one isn't. This one's not terrible. I can get it. But I can also get it through teeny tiny beads. But I thought, and just for this one, I would just only use the pearls. So I've got this selection here. Some of them are rounded on the top and flat bottom. Quite like them. When we were in Ballarat, we went to this studio of a lady that did amazing embroidery, and she had these little packs. Some they weren't the cheapest bead. They were labelled freshwater pearls, so probably priced close to accordingly. They weren't the cheapest beads. But I think I'll just use these for here. I did a mixture of them for the poinsettia because I just wanted it to sort of graduate a bit, where I think these ones will be okay. Just here. So then that's it. That will conclude this video. It's been lots of little stops and starts for this part, but I'm really happy with it, and I think it's going to look quite nice on my bed for Christmas. Let's see if I can get him to turn around a little bit. There. All right, I'm going to add a couple more little beads. I've got some extra little pearls here. I have a bag of those, sort of in that same kind of colour. So these ones here. And my mum was a seamstress, and she made lots of wedding gowns, and there was always beading involved. And when she was having a tidy up, she was like, "Do you want these?" I said, "Oh my gosh, yes. There's some gorgeous ones in amongst them." Good. Put another one here, and I reckon that'll probably do me. I don't think I need to have any more than that. Probably didn't want 3 lines like that. Let me have a think about that one. Nah, that looks a bit silly. Nah, and that's not going to happen. Didn't want it to be quite so. All right, if I pull that thread through there. Yep, so what I did was I just wound the thread around that bead so it moved, it pulled it in, so it's made sort of a circular effect rather than 2 straight lines. That looked a bit silly. Let's see if that'll hold. Yep. I'll come back in around. So what I've come up is between the beads. I'm going to go round this one here and pull it with the thread so that, oh, nearly lost the thread. There we go. That looks better. Good-o. All right, well, I think that's it. I'm going to love and leave you. I might get myself sorted and do some work on another one, and I can always give you a bit of show and tell when it's done. But for now, that's it. Good. Yeah, that looks all right like that. My poinsettia looks good. Cool. All right. I hope you've enjoyed watching how I did this, and if you are interested in the panels, you can head on over to Corinne's website, To Be Loved Treasures by Corinne, and I know that she still has some. Okie doke. Bye for now.